Good evening, Wear Many Hats listeners. Joining us today, we're very excited to have Mike Tuohy. Mike has over 20 years' experience in the facilities management industry, and he's currently the Regional Director of Facilities Management for Knight Frank Promise. Good evening, Mike. How you doing?
Yeah, not bad, Mark. Yourself?
Yeah, not too bad. Did you have a good day?
Yeah, it wasn't bad. Busy one, but good.
Busy one, bombing around in the sunshine?
Got my little bike.
Yeah.
Go around. Keeps me out of mischief.
Where you been today then?
Baker Street and then Covent Garden.
Oh, wow, two nice places to go.
Can't be bad, can it?
It can't be too bad. Yeah. Did you have a bit of lunch over Covent Garden? There's some nice places.
Didn't have lunch, but we got Diageo from Guinness.
All right.
They're moving into Covent Garden next year.
Actually, yeah, because we popped round there. I remember being told that. Yeah.
So it's really exciting now in Covent Garden. It's going to be the go-to place. I mean, it's already a go-to place anyway, but Guinness is going to have a massive impact.
Because they're building
really good.
And they're building like an experience centre or something.
Yeah,
along those lines.
Basically, they're going to have a microbrewery and all sorts of events going on. But the great thing about Diageo, they're really into community spirit.
Brilliant.
Looking after everyone.
Yeah.
Really engaging. They want what works for the community. It's not just about them, it's about everything else.
Right.
So, yeah, we're really excited about them coming to the area.
Oh, fantastic.
It'll be good fun.
Brilliant. It's all right, guys. Well, you heard it here first. Wear Many Hats listeners. If you like a Guinness, get yourself down to Covent Garden in approximately how long, Mike?
About a year and a half.
About a year and a half. All right, you've got 18 months. But
Start saving up.
Yeah, start saving up. Plenty of leading. Brilliant. All right, Mike, fantastic. Well, listen, let's crack on with the first question. Great to have you here. Firstly, can you tell us a little bit about your career journey in facilities management?
Right. Well, I think like most people, I kind of fell into it.
Yeah.
Did a degree, business studies. Became an accountant for 20 years.
Wow.
Found out far too exciting. And one day I was working for a firm of managing agents, small firm, their accountant.
Yeah.
And, I just thought, give facilities a go. A friend of mine was doing it. He explained what it was like.
Yeah.
And then I joined a company called GVA Grimley, which is now, as we know, Everson Young.
I know GVA very well. Yeah.
Good company. Was there for about 6-7 years. Then went to join a company called Drivers Jonas, which became Deloitte Real Estate.
Yeah.
And then 6 years ago, we merged with Knight Frank, and I kind of found my spiritual home.
Right.
Knight Frank Promise.
Yeah.
Fantastic company. We share the same ethos, the same passion for our buildings and our staff.
Yeah.
So it's like, coming home basically. Yeah.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, been brilliant.
Brilliant, good stuff. So am I right in saying that you've been promoted relatively recently at Knight Frank? Is that an accurate assessment?
So Jason Taylor, my line manager, my boss, he moved on to head of commercial.
Right.
And I took over as regional head for London.
Fantastic.
So we've got really good staff, about 70 people in London now.
Right.
And it's growing. It's good. It's good business.
Brilliant. Well, firstly, congratulations on the recent promotion. How did you find that transition from your previous role into the new one? Was it a significant jump in terms of responsibility, or was it something that you felt quite comfortable moving into?
I think the good thing about Knight Frank Promise is our training.
Yeah,
and it's all about preparing you for the next stage in your career.
Right.
So Jason had been great. He'd been handing stuff over to me over the years. So it felt like a natural progression.
Yeah.
Like most people, I think we all still suffer from sort of imposter syndrome. You look around and you're thinking, I'm a guy from North London, went to a comprehensive. What am I doing running a big team?
Yeah, fair. That's a fair assessment. Yeah.
But we are, and we're doing well.
Yeah, yeah.
But no, I think, we do really good training in Knight Frank. So, it wasn't a big jump. It's just something that I kind of fell into. But it's still sometimes you've got to wake up, pinch yourself and go, am I really doing this job?
Yeah, of course, yeah. I mean, to be fair, you're not the first person to say that actually about Knight Frank. One of our previous guests who worked for Knight Frank for a period of time actually mentioned, how the development pathways within the business are incredibly good and the support functions are really, really good.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting and great to hear that you're saying the same thing.
No, we have. In fact, I've just been going around the country doing some service charge training. I haven't been an ex-accountant.
Yeah.
Service charge is a bit of a passion of mine.
Yep.
And
so you know how to really look into an Excel spreadsheet.
Then, I love Excel spreadsheets.
Yeah.
I do get a bit too overexcited, I have to be honest. So no, I've just spent last couple of weeks going around just just helping everyone out, just running a training program on developing, because building managers come from a wide range of backgrounds. So not everyone's going to be an expert on service charges. So what we're trying to do is we look around the team and go, well, who's good at this, who's good at that? I happen to be good at service charges, so I'm leading that. Others are good at M&E. Others are good at other skills, soft skills, front of the house skills. So we try and use all those skills, combine it together, and have a good, really, really good learning and development package.
Yeah, that's great though, isn't it? It's great that other people within the team can kind of leverage on your experience and your, something that you're passionate about to give them additional skills in terms of them being able to complete their job roles on a daily basis.
And the things I've been where they are. I've sat down, had the same experience with client accountants, surveyors. So, I'm not someone who's teaching it from afar.
No.
I've done exactly their jobs, so
you've
I
got
can relate to them.
Practical experience doing exactly the same thing.
Exactly that.
I think people really relate to that. I think that's the best way to train, isn't it? Because you don't want to be told by somebody who's not done your job how to do your job. I think that if it's somebody that's already done it, you can, because they've got scenarios that you've already been in. You can create that kind of link, can't you, between what they're doing and what you did in the past. So it's slightly easier for them to understand, and they're also more likely to take it on board. And
that's our training. We try and make it as interactive as possible, and we set some exercises that are real practical. I even use one of my buildings. We as together as a group, we create a service charge based around a building that I've worked in. And they've probably walked past themselves a lot. So it makes it a bit more real.
Kind of interactive, real world scenarios. Okay. Oh, brilliant. Oh, well, that's really, really good. Okay, then. So if we kind of moved on to, I was going to ask what inspired you to pursue a career, but we already know you're sick of being an accountant. You're far too interested to be sat behind a desk doing that all day, Mike.
I'd rather walk around buildings and have fun.
Exactly. Yeah. So, in terms of your sector within facilities management, because obviously some of our listeners won't know, can you just tell us a little bit about that sector and how you feel that you've evolved within that specific industry?
So my sector is the commercial sector.
So
and in London. So large office blocks, estates, Pollen Estate, Mercer's Estate, and large office blocks.
So it's quite varied.
It's quite varied. We range in 100,000 to 500,000 square foot buildings. We've got a massive building, Paddington now, another one in Canary Wharf, 400,000 or 500,000 square foot.
Wow.
We then go right down to much smaller buildings. So range of skill sets, different types of builder managers, different types of contractors you need for each building. So not one building is the same, which makes it really good, actually, makes it really interesting.
Yeah, so that variation, because you've got that variation, would you say that means that you're quite good at dealing with different scenarios, different environments and different ways of working? Because I'm guessing they all have different requirements.
Some buildings will have one contractor that will run lots of services. Other buildings, much smaller. Some will have 5 receptions, some will have no receptions. Some will have a key holding service out of hours, some will have a full M&E team, a security team, 24 hours, 7 days a week. So each building, and what we do in Knight Frank Promise is that we don't do bulk contracts. We do what contract works for the individual building. So everything's bespoke to that building because each building is different.
Okay, so it's a tailored service as opposed to
very much tailored, because different buildings have its own service charge, different types of service charges, what they can afford. And what level of service the occupiers and clients want, and landlords want. So it's very much a bespoke service.
Right. Okay. That's really interesting, actually, because a lot of companies like portfolio, they go out in portfolios, but what you're saying is that it tends to be more specific to the
more tailor-made. We want what works for the building, and not every contractor suits that sort of thing. Some contractors don't like smaller buildings. Some prefer that. So it's getting the right contractor, and the contractors that we know will embrace the building and take as much pride in the building as we do.
Of course.
Well, that's really important to us.
That collaboration and partnership is important, isn't it?
Yeah, massively.
Yeah, because I guess what's crucial about that is that if you don't have the right partner, because they represent you, they represent your brand, don't they? That's the reality. So it must be quite important that you choose.
If a contractor's not performing, it's going to reflect badly on us.
Of course.
And the thing is, it's a partnership. We don't want to knock our contractors for price and stuff like that. We want them to earn a decent price out of out of a building.
Yeah.
And in turn, we want a good service.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
You know, and it's that partnership we want to work with, because we want to work long term. Lots of our contractors, we've had them for, we've worked together for a long time.
Yeah.
We've grown together.
Yeah.
You know, as we've grown, they've grown, and that works well.
Yeah, of course, yeah. It's absolutely fantastic. Brilliant. Okay, so moving on to sort of, a career within facilities management, what advice would you give to somebody who was interested in starting a career in the sector?
Advice, I think the best thing is to have passion for the building
Yeah.
and take pride in it. That's how I kind of got into it, because I love buildings, but you want to walk into a building and go, that's mine.
Yeah.
That's, I'm proud of everything around it. I think it's important to get some qualifications. I'm a member of IWFM.
Yep.
I'm a technical member of IOSH.
Right.
I've got my NEBOSH, did them many years ago.
Yep.
That's really important if you want to progress within the thing.
Yep.
But it's not just a tick box, you've got to live and breathe it. But also I think the important thing is to get a mentor.
Right.
I've had several mentors over the years.
Yeah.
And that's really important, to get someone you could bounce ideas off of. And I think the most important thing is don't be afraid to ask.
Yeah.
Because there's no such thing as a silly question.
Yeah.
I got into the industry at the age of 40, didn't know much about the industry. Bluffed my way a bit in the early days, as we all do.
As we all do, yeah. Fake it till you make it, as they say. Yeah.
But you sit in meetings, you listen to people, and then you ask the questions and you learn, and never be afraid to ask.
Yeah.
Because there's so many people out there who want to impart their information.
Yeah.
And get a good mentor.
A good mentor. So you mentioned that you'd had several mentors throughout your career. Are you happy name checking any of them?
Jason Taylor,
Right.
he was my colleague at GVA.
Yeah.
He's now my boss.
Right.
He's probably one of the best FMs in the country.
That's high praise.
No, it's truly deserved. And you can learn so much off him. The guy's younger than me, so not an issue. You know, but if someone's good, even if you just pick up half of what they know, you'll do well.
Yeah.
So
I have that conversation with my colleague to our right all the time in terms of age.
Yeah.
Because I don't think age is important. I remember when I started my career, I remember having lots of ideas, but I looked very young. So because I looked very young, I wasn't necessarily taken seriously. But it didn't mean my ideas were bad, So I think sometimes people get caught up in age and, people being young, old, whatever. I mean, I don't think it necessarily matters as long as your ideas are good.
Yeah, and it's how you challenge those, and it's listen to people and challenge those ideas, because someone may have done something similar before, but just because it didn't work before doesn't mean to say it's not going to work now.
Yeah.
Different environments, different buildings, etc.
Yeah.
Okay,
that's really interesting. We've asked Jason Taylor on the show,
He will come. He'll come after this.
Well, he's going to have to now. He's been name checked. He hasn't got a choice.
Yeah, I've done it on purpose.
We'll have to make sure he listens to it, won't we? Good stuff. Brilliant. All right, cheers, Mike. All right, so moving on to something a little bit technology based now in terms of question. We've asked this a few people. I think it's quite interesting, the differences in answers that we get. So, what role would you see artificial intelligence playing within facilities management now and in the future?
I mean, artificial intelligence, the Internet of Things, it's having a major impact on our industry.
Yeah.
The ideas of our buildings, 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, occupancy levels have all changed. We now call them the twats, the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays.
I love that one.
And it's not derogatory. It's just that we haven't got the same flow of people for our buildings every day. So therefore, we have to be a bit more proactive. And the Internet of Things, AI, means we can start being a bit clever in how we run our buildings. We invariably know on a Friday morning, Friday afternoon, there's probably very few people in the buildings. So why pump the same amount of fresh air around the building? Why use the same amount of energy? We have buildings now where using your mobile phones, we could tell how many people are in certain parts of a floor of a building. So we can control how much energy we use on that area, how much lighting, how much cooling, etc. So AI, Internet of Things, gives us a lot more ability to tailor make our buildings to use the right amount of energy.
Right.
Likewise, we've got this thing in engineering where we use a thing called SFG20, whereby plant it, but like servicing your car, hit so many thousand miles, you service your car.
Yeah.
Why service plant at the same rate as you've always done it? Let's be a bit clever and go, well, if it's not been used that much, let's not service it so much. So we're saving money. We've just been a bit more intelligent. We've been proactive rather than always reactive.
Yeah, thinking of different ways to do things.
And I think AI is giving us that ability now to think differently and run our buildings more efficiently therefore using less energy.
Yeah.
And just be a bit more careful about what we're doing,
Yeah.
I think we shouldn't be afraid of it. We should embrace it.
Yeah.
And it will change things. Receptionists will change.
Yeah.
My son now, when he goes to McDonald's, he doesn't go to the counter. He goes to the machine at the front and types it in. So therefore, people going to reception won't always expect the person there anymore. They may start expecting, an image. It could be one of those holograms type stuff. We're already trying it out in some of our buildings now with remote receptionists.
Yeah.
You could save a lot of money by not having someone sitting on reception.
Well, that's very true. Yeah.
So those technologies are coming. If you look 5 years ago, who would have known about ESG? Now it's everything we do. It's the heart of what we do. So there's it's a lot changing. And I'm sure the next 5 years we'll see a momentum going forward as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think that McDonald's analogy you just used is actually, I've never thought about it like that before, Mike, to be fair, but you are true. If whenever I go to McDonald's, I go to the, it's just normal.
Yeah.
But then until you actually think, until you put the two together, McDonald's reception, you're like, nah, it's McDonald's, it wouldn't work. But then, if you implement the technology in a different way, whereby it's welcoming and interactive, then why wouldn't you?
I've got access cards to buildings. I no longer carry keys for my buildings. I've got apps for my buildings.
Yeah.
Send someone a meeting request. You include it on the app. Turn up, put it on the door. Door opens.
Yeah. And to be fair, there's lots of cost-effective solutions out there. It's not
expensive anymore.
No.
It used to be expensive.
Yeah.
Nowadays, everyone's got apps.
Yeah.
Therefore, how we interact with the buildings and how we flow through the buildings. So, more and more now we're getting involved in design for management. We call it DFM.
Yeah.
Building managers know how buildings flow. We know how people walk through a building, how they access stuff. So more and more now, we're getting involved in the early stages to advise architects, advise clients on, how the building should run.
Yeah.
And we can save lots of money and make them more, interactive. Offices are no longer places where you just come to work. They've got to be a kind of a community.
Yeah.
There's got to be some sort of community feel where there's a building app where everyone can engage with the building. So if there's something happening in reception, everyone will know about it for events and stuff. Like a Facebook, but for the building type community type thing. Yeah, exactly that. And there's lots of them out there, and some of them are really good. And lots of Valentine's Day there'll be things about what's happening in the building, or if someone's doing a book collection for a charity, we can promote it within the building,
right?
Stuff like that. So
do you do that? Is that done generally via like push notifications? And do you use that technology, or do you think that's a bit too invasive? Or
there's various types.
Yeah.
I forget which ones people tend to use, but and some buildings are really engaged with it, others less so. It just depends on who's in the building.
It could depend on the culture, couldn't it? I suppose.
It could, very much so. Yeah.
Because, like you said, it's all different, isn't it? So depending on the type of organisation, could also impact the type of culture and whether or not they would adopt or invest in something like that.
Yeah. But it's getting cheaper, and people want. Coming to work has to be an experience now.
Yes.
And part of our role is to create that experience.
Yeah.
As you walk through the door, what's the shower facilities like? Are you been given a towel? Is there drying rooms? What does it smell like? What does it sound like?
Yeah.
Can you get Wi-Fi in the changing rooms? Is there TV in the changing rooms at the news? All those sorts of things people are looking at now.
Yeah.
So it's all that part of that end of journey type stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas 5 years ago, pre-COVID, it wasn't that important. Occupiers are now looking for that sort of that thing.
Yeah, I mean, we've discussed this before on the show with a couple of guests. Actually, I think between 5 and 7 years ago, that type of environment was very prevalent, more sort of in the tech space.
Yeah,
in the likes of Google and Facebook and things like that. Not to name check them, but it's kind of the biggest ones.
Yeah.
But yeah, what we've seen, what I see, and what some of the guests that we've had on before is you're seeing a transition now away from just kind of that specific sector into, if it's a building, it needs to be a community and it needs to be right, because we need to entice people in, because we learned a lot from COVID.
Yeah,
and I think that's a really positive thing.
I think so because people want to enjoy going to work. It's hard enough to get people back into the office. When they come back in, they've got to be engaged, and they're expecting more from the office.
Yeah.
So COVID has been good for that.
Yeah. Do you think that we may see an increase in sort of co-working spaces as a result of COVID in the future, or do you think that it'll continue along the lines as it does now? What do you think?
I think flexibility on leases.
Yeah.
People aren't going to be signing up for 10-year leases.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. They want the ability to grow, contract.
Yeah.
Co-working. I think the youngsters nowadays want to work differently.
Yeah.
They don't want to sit with groups of other people. They want that. They want the flexibility.
Yeah.
Which I think buildings need to give them.
Yeah.
I think the working at home, that's never going to change. People are always now, the cat's out of the bag. People like working from home.
Yeah.
But we have to make coming to work something that's worth your while doing.
Yeah.
I think co-working is the future, isn't it?
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, I think what you said there about flexibility is I think that's the key. And the reason I say that is because I've been a flexible worker for about 15 years. So I was doing this before COVID, and I understand the benefits of it. So I don't think I could ever just do a 9 to 5 Monday to Friday in an office now. And I don't think I'd have been able to do it 10 years ago either, because I've done it. So I understand that flexible element.
Yeah.
And I understand why when people experienced it during COVID, it became a very popular thing. But I think that 15 years ago, the technology to be able to do that wasn't there.
Now, I remember when Knight Frank, pre-COVID, we had one day where everyone was going to work from home.
Yeah.
And everyone assumed the system would fall over.
Yeah.
And of course it didn't.
Yeah.
Now, I come from a background where, I worked in the office 5 days a week. I did during COVID. I was in most of the time during COVID.
Yes.
On my bike cycling around London. And I am still in 5 days a week now, or at least 4 days a week anyway.
Yeah.
I'm quite envious of those who don't have to do it.
Yeah. I can understand that as well.
Yeah.
I've got friends that are the same, I understand that. I've got friends that have to be cited because they're responsible for the building and so on and so forth. Yeah.
So in some ways, my son who's 19, he will never have to do the Monday to Friday. I mean, everyone on the train in the morning, I knew everyone on the platform in the morning. We get the 6 o'clock train in the morning. I see the same guys at 7 o'clock that evening coming home.
Right.
That was my life for 40 years.
Yeah.
Was it good? Probably not, because I didn't get the work-life balance.
Yeah.
And I think going forward, people want a better work-life balance.
Yeah.
I think the next generation is a lot fortunate for that, because you can take your kids to school and still do your day job. Whereas, my generation never had that opportunity. Do
you know what? That's a really frank assessment. I think that's a really interesting way to put it, Mike. I really do, because I've never looked at it from that angle. But when you think about, the generation ahead of me, for example, you are right. They never had that opportunity. That they were away from their families 5 days a week, from 6 a.m. till 7 p.m. So that's a really interesting.
So I think the next generation is lucky.
Yeah, I would agree. Actually,
yeah.
Looking at it from that viewpoint,
I hope they appreciate it.
Yeah, looking at this young fella to our right. Yeah. Without a doubt. Okay, brilliant. Thanks, Mike. Really, really good, interesting one. So I'm just going to move on to ESG.
Okay.
You've already mentioned it.
Yep.
What I want to talk about, though, in terms of ESG, especially with yourself, is I know that you've been quite heavily involved with homelessness over the years. We'll go on to the environmental, because I know that that's important, and we'll talk about the governance, even though we'll try and make sure we don't fall asleep during that bit, though, Mike.
Okay.
But tell us a little bit about the work that you've done from a charitable perspective throughout your career to help people that are homeless.
Okay, so at the age of 18, I got involved in a charity called Crisis.
Yep.
Crisis at Christmas. It basically started off, my family are Irish, all around London at the time. There's a lot of Irish, Scottish homeless.
Yep.
I had no money. I couldn't really give any money, but what I had was time.
Yep.
So started volunteering at the charity over the Christmas period, about 8 days over Christmas. And I think this year, I've done 44. I think it's 44 years now. I've been doing it every Christmas.
Wow.
Done a lot of work. I was a trustee for a while.
Yeah.
Doing a lot of work during the year on soup runs, clothing runs over the year, etc., etc. And about 4 years ago, I was on the Queen's Honours list. Queen was very grateful. I was awarded a British Empire Medal.
Oh,
for
fantastic. Well done.
services to homelessness. So that was nice. That was good.
Yeah.
So homelessness is a passion of mine. A lot of mental health issues amongst homelessness. At one point, a lot of ex-military were homeless. People
Yes.
in care.
Yeah.
The military's done a great job in recent years now, and reduced a lot of that. A story I often tell my volunteers is that a guy I met several years back, been a deputy headmaster of a school, and him and I were chatting over a couple of nights at a homeless shelter, and I basically looked at him and I went, you and me, we look the same, we sound the same. How did you end up being homeless?
Yeah.
And the way he described it was that he'd been a deputy headmaster of a school
Yeah.
up in, I won't say where, but up north somewhere. And he was never at home, always having an Ofsted or an inspection, something like that was happening. And one day he came home and his wife said, look, I've had enough. I never see you. The kids never see you. You're out. I've met someone else.
Right.
So fine. He had to find himself a little bedsit, not too far away, because he still wanted to be able to kind of have some contact with the kids.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Living on his own in a bedsit. He'd gone from a 3-bedroom semi to suddenly he was living on his own. He got more depressed. Depression started drinking a bit more.
Yeah.
And over the space of a couple of years, he took time off work because he couldn't cope. In the end, he had a nervous breakdown.
Right.
Lost his job.
Yeah.
And then one day he was in a place called the Arndale Centre, which is up in, I think, Manchester.
I know the Arndale Centre. The Arndale Centre well.
Yeah. So he was there begging, saw his wife and his kids walking down one of the corridors or one of the kind of the shopping mall area.
Yeah.
Didn't want, they terrified his wife would see him, so he jumped on a coach and ended up in London. And that's how we came across him. And I'd often describe it as a sort of like a set of dominoes.
Yeah.
Everyone can fall over a bit, and your mates, your colleagues at work, everyone can pick you up.
Yeah.
But if you keep those dominoes keep falling, suddenly you've got this weight on your shoulders, and you can't pick yourself up.
Yeah.
Chatting to a guy once in Lincoln's Inn Fields down in just not far from here in Holborn. And it was late at night and he was drinking. And I knew the guy quite well. And I went, look, that's not doing you any good. He had a can of Tennent's in his hand. And he went, well, it takes the edge off life a bit. And today it's raining and tomorrow it's probably going to rain as well. And therefore, alcohol just made life a bit easier.
Right.
So the teacher from, I think, Manchester area, the homeless crisis, we got him sorted out. We got him some clothes. We got him advice. Found his sister.
Yeah.
And we reunited him with his sister.
Right.
And then we put him on a train back up north again.
Right.
And I've never seen the guy since. And I'm hoping that that's a good sign.
Yeah.
But it just goes to show that certain things in your life, if it happens too quickly, before you know it, you're out on, you're homeless, and especially at the moment with current rising rents, etc.
It's amazing how it can happen to anybody.
Depression. So many people I know who are homeless. It's depression.
Yeah.
And once that kicks in, it's hard to get out. It's hard to motivate yourself.
Yeah.
To get out. Especially if you're cold, wet, you're sleeping rough.
Yeah.
It's hard to get into a good place.
Yeah.
To then start looking for help. It's quite easy just to stay where you are.
Yeah, I've been touching on that. We've got a charity called Andy's Man Club. Have you heard of it?
I heard of it. Yeah.
Yeah, we've got a charity called Andy's Man Club coming on the show in around October. And Andy's Man Club is a charitable institution that helps men that are going through difficult times. Obviously suicide is quite high within the male population at the minute. So we wanted to bring him on the show to talk about the structures and the support functions that are in place for men and so on and so forth. Yep. And it actually sounds like something like that would, because I've been divorced, but I do know that when you're taken out of the marital home and away from your kids, it's hard.
Yeah.
It is. God, that's hard. So.
And all it takes is then not have a support network around you.
Yeah.
It's easy to slip.
Yeah.
So many people we know who are homeless who've just kind of fallen, and it's hard to get back up. So what Christ at Christmas does, at the Christmas period, we give everyone a bit of respite, basically. Yeah. It's just 20 days now. Last couple of years we've been 20 days. We have hotels in London, and we just give everyone a chance to just stop, regroup themselves, get their head sorted out, and then when they're at the right stage, then they could start getting advice and move on accommodation.
Right.
And stuff like that. And it works very well.
Yeah, that's really, really commendable.
No, it's good fun.
Yeah, I bet it is. Yeah, because I know that you do quite a few events to raise money as well, such as charitable sleep outs.
We did sleep out. A whole crowd of us at Night Frank. Night Frank sponsored sleep out last year, and I think we raised something like £250,000.
Yes,
in one night, which is incredible.
I donated. So
you did. You remember that?
Yes, I saw what you raised, and I was like, wow, you know.
And for us, it was one night. And but the thing is, what you don't get when you're just doing it one night is the kind of loneliness and despair, because the guy I knew in Lincoln's Inn Fields was that, well, tonight's cold and wet, but actually tomorrow night's going to be no better. Or the night after, or the night after. And when it's like that, hence why so many homeless people commit suicide. You know, life expectancy is like 54, 55 for a homeless man.
Really?
You know, I'm much older than that. You know, it just goes, because, you get a chest infection, you're at home, it's fine. We can get antibiotics. We're living on the streets.
You can't.
You can't.
Yeah. I always get quite angry when I think about homelessness, and it's probably in an irrational anger. And the reason I get angry is because I think we're like the 5th or 6th largest economy in the world, and I just don't understand. For the life of me, I do not understand why anybody is homeless. I really don't. I know there's reasons.
Yeah, drugs, mental health.
Yeah, but but that that irrational side of your brain is like, surely we can fix this. Surely we can do all the good. There can be a step in, and
other countries have
exactly.
And no one chooses to be homeless.
No,
you don't choose to sleep out. I cycle up Euston Road every day, and there's loads of homeless people sleeping up by Great Portland Street Station.
Yeah,
no one chooses to wake up on the site outside a shop.
No,
but it is because it's necessity.
Yeah,
and you're right. In this day and age, we shouldn't be doing it. And when I started 40 odd years ago, did I ever think I'd still be volunteering? No way.
Yeah,
but the need is there, and it's getting worse.
Right.
It's on the rise because of our current situation. Because of rents in London, or not just London, but elsewhere. And lack of support. You can't just solve homelessness by putting someone in a home.
No. Yeah, I agree.
It's a whole. You need support workers because you need mental health. There's a whole load of agencies need to come together.
Yeah.
You can't do one because someone's living in a flat. If they're lonely, vulnerable, etc., then they're going to be out again sooner or later.
Yeah. They'll find themselves back in that cycle.
Yeah. So it's a whole multi-agency approach, is what they kind of call it.
Yeah, but I do think that we're more than capable of coming up with that approach and delivering it. That's my view.
We can find money for other things.
Well, we can find it for war and all that stuff, can't we? Not to go into too much politics, but we can.
When we want it, we can find it.
Exactly. There's got to be that desire, that will.
Yeah. It should be. Government should be embarrassed by seeing homeless.
I completely agree. I just, to me, like I said, whenever I see it, I'm like, it just shouldn't happen. But it is what it is. But great to see that you're supporting it, Mike. And if there's anything that you want us to support here on the show, if there's any events taking place or anything like that you'd like us to give us a shout out, or even for us to come and attend and assist and support, then we would be more than happy to get involved with that.
Give you a shout on that.
Lovely.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's talk about the E in ESG, environmental. ESG. Tell us a little bit about that. What's your view on the environmental side of what the industry is doing? And do you think it could do more or less? Or
I think ESG is no longer a buzzword.
No,
it's no longer the thing you do at pitches and forget about. Now it's it's at the heart of everything we do. Be it from the chemicals our contractors are using to how they treat their staff. How the buildings interact with everyone. It's at the heart of our thinking nowadays. I mean, it's good to see today. There's some BS brought out a new standard on air quality within buildings and conditions within buildings.
I haven't
new
seen
standard,
that.
Came out. For the record, it's BS standard 40102. And its recommendations how you monitor air quality, lighting, all those sorts of things within the building. So the industry is catching up. But no, I think ESG is here. And we should embrace it, and it's a good thing because we should be looking after our buildings. We should be looking after the staff that work in our buildings.
We should be looking after the environment. We should be looking after local communities. We should be doing all doing the right thing because it's the right thing to do.
We have up in Newcastle now. We got some shopping centres there, and some of our staff up there are just doing brilliant jobs. I recently one of our shopping centres is now a dementia-friendly shopping centre.
Well, explain that.
I'm not sure. I mean,
okay.
but I can find out. But all the staff have had training on making it dementia-friendly. So whatever touch points there are, the staff up there did some training recently on autism,
Right.
making it autistic friendly. So obviously the lighting, the sound.
Yeah.
So to make the experience, and give everyone a bit more training as to what to look out for. So it's not just a naughty child in the corner that's misbehaving. There's probably a reason why that child is behaving the way they are. So we can support the parents and make the experience a lot better.
Yeah.
And and more comfortable for the family. Then the same shopping centre, is turning empty shops into community centres.
Yeah.
Rather than just boarding them up. Make them some place where the kids can go, especially during the half term. And stuff
Giving them somewhere to go. Yeah.
But you're right. It feels like it's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Rather than the easy option is just to board it up, shop up, and forget it.
Well, I think we have to do it because the government isn't. Yeah. Once again, we got a little bit political, but at some point, we've all got to stand up, take action, and say, right, well, if they're not going to do it, then
we have to.
Yeah.
And it's the right thing to do. It's our community. We should be looking after that.
Completely agree.
The same as you walk into a building, the building has to feel right.
Yeah.
We have buildings where people can bring their dogs in.
Yeah.
Because if a dog is it helps someone's anxiety and stuff like that, then we have to accommodate that. And it's right, it should be.
Yeah.
And we should be paying our staff, our cleaners, our security staff, a decent salary.
Yep.
Because morally, that's what we should be doing.
Yeah, I think everybody deserves a fair day's pay for a fair day's work.
Yeah, exactly.
Without a doubt, Okay, cool. Brilliant. Thanks, Mike. Really appreciate that. So, moving on to the future. Okay, the future. What do you think the future landscape of facilities management looks like? Where do you think we're going?
I don't know. Because I look back 5 years and I see where we've come.
Yeah.
And I look 5 years ahead, 10 years ahead. I think the way we maintain the buildings will be different using AI, as we discussed. How we clean the buildings, how we maintain them will all change. But I think buildings need to become community hubs where everyone is involved and they're a lot more interactive. I was at a building, Green Park, recently, which is one of our estates near Reading, and I took away a jar of honey because we have various hives on the estate.
Right.
Not bad when you can, you've got people can, lovely grounds, there's lakes there, it's a lovely environment to work in.
Yeah.
Why would you not want to go and work there? And we have some really top end occupiers there, who want to, their staff want to come and work. Another occupier I met recently, they found moving into their building actually attracted more staff because staff saw the location and saw how they were being treated. So it was giving them the ability to recruit good staff.
Yeah.
So I think the future is good. I think the future is, and also we're recognising FM as a profession.
Yes, I agree with that without doubt. Yeah.
When I joined and when I told people I was I'd become a facilities manager, they basically thought I was a caretaker.
Yes.
Or I was going to health and safety nerd.
Yeah.
And I'm probably somewhere totally not like that. Hopefully not like that. I don't health and safety is a passion, but we are a profession. We're as good as our surveyors. We're good at what we do. You can now do a degree in it. Which
you can,
no one did before. But it's recognising the industry and recognising the individuals that they can add great value to the buildings. And look after landlords' assets.
Yeah, but I think that's great. I say on the show all the time that the industry doesn't get the pat on the back that it needs sometimes, because I do think that we're at the forefront of a lot of things in terms of how we treat people, in terms of the charitable work that's done across the industry, how we've, as an industry, as a community, how we've taken hold of environmental issues and tried to push it forward. Yeah. So I think our industry is quite good.
Yeah, and we're multi-skilled. We're accountants. Yeah. We're engineers. We're front of the house. We're marketing. We're all those things.
Got to be little Northerners.
Yeah. But we are. And we should be proud of that.
Yeah, without a doubt.
And we should sing our praise. And sometimes we don't get the praise that I think we deserve, because we are looking at multi-billion pound assets.
Yeah, without a doubt. Without a doubt, yeah. Thanks, Mike. Brilliant. Okay, so just moving on to a different element of your career. What are some of the common challenges today that you face in facilities management, and how do you overcome them?
I think recruiting good staff
Yep.
is a challenge. I think
Right.
there's not enough people coming into the industry.
Okay.
You know, the industry is predominantly male.
Yep.
I'm pleased to say London now, we have a really diverse workforce in our team. And that's great. And it's great that when we look around and see our team, our team reflects London
Yes.
in all its nature, which is really good.
Yep.
But getting younger people in is proving a challenge.
Right. Why do you think that is?
I don't think it's promoted well enough in schools.
Right.
I think it may not have the sexy, I want to become an app designer or I want to become a YouTuber or whatever. It doesn't have that kind of appeal to it.
I think most of them just want to go on Love Island these days.
I think they
they?
do. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Maybe we should create a show called FM Island.
Yeah, but I think that's one of the biggest challenges is getting the team in, getting the youngsters in. Because once they're in, I think one of my biggest regrets is not going to FM earlier.
Yeah.
And I'm a big advocate for the industry because I think it's an exciting industry. No 2 days are the same.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's fabulous opportunities in the industry as well.
Yeah.
And fabulous opportunities for everybody. You know, whether you're female, male, it doesn't matter. I think that there's roles within the industry and opportunities to progress your career in so many different areas. It's such a fantastic and diverse.
That's what we like in Knight Frank Promise. We had one of my guys retired recently, and because he retired, I had 6 people. Starting from someone on reception who became an assistant building manager, all the way through, 6 people moved. It was almost like a set of dominoes or chess. Everyone moved up a piece.
Yeah.
It's great to see that kind of that journey that everyone's taking. One of our associate directors 12 years ago, he joined us as a concierge.
Right.
12 years later, he's an associate director.
That's fantastic.
Another guy was a security manager, now a director.
Yeah.
Jason Taylor, my boss, he was a chef.
Yes, he was.
We all come from different backgrounds.
Yeah.
But it's not about where you come from; it's where you're going. This is important.
It's very true.
And I think this industry gives us so many opportunities.
I think the industry is really good at absorbing, people's skills from other industries and making those skills and attributes work within the industry. There's not many industries that can say that. I think FM is probably one of the only industries where you can make sure you're not pigeonholed. Because you can develop into something else. You could do a different role within the industry. Yeah. So although, the knowledge that you've gained for 5 years in one role is still relevant in the role that you potentially, whether you've gone sideways, up, down, left, right, doesn't really matter. That knowledge can still help you in that new role.
And you never stop learning.
Yeah.
There's always stuff to learn.
Yeah.
And we have a really good learning platform.
Yep.
Loads of courses and, we always encourage people, be it learning skills and presentation skills or PowerPoint or whatever the case may be. There's so many skills out there, and it makes you a better person.
I think so. Yeah, it makes you more well-rounded, doesn't it?
Definitely,
without a doubt. Well, it's great to see you guys are investing in your people.
Yeah, no, massively. You've got to. It's the right thing to do.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
And when we get the benefits, when you've got, when you see staff, and I call it the promised journey, but you see someone starting as a front of the house and moving their way through and progressing. We're doing Excellence Awards every year, where we, it's one of the things I'm really proud of, helped set up a couple of years back, where we recognise people for doing a good job. And one guy I was talking about earlier, chatting to him at the end of the night, he was a Rising Star Award. Yeah. Been with us a couple of years, doing a great job. And he got an award, and at the end of the evening I was chatting to him and I said about the award. He said, yeah, I've sent my mum a picture of it already.
Oh.
So the fact that he was that proud that he didn't want to wait till he went home. He sent a picture of, probably, I think I presented him the award. Yeah. To him, brilliant. He was as proud as anything. And then his mum would have thought, well, look, my son's obviously doing a good job.
Yeah, to be fair.
Being recognised.
To be fair, I'm the same, Mike. If I do something well and I get recognised, I tell my mum. Yeah. I think we all do, don't we? We all want our sort of family and friends to be proud of our achievements because we're proud of them. We are proud of them.
Yeah, and we should be proud. Yeah, and this guy who's lovely to see it. It was nice that he wanted to share that. It wasn't just I got an award, I'll leave it in my drawer. Yeah, he wanted, and we do like to promote that, and we give out quite a few awards every year, and every one of them is for. It's justly deserved, because someone's gone a bit special. Yeah. And it gives others can see that and go, well, maybe if I do that, I can achieve the same.
Brilliant. Well, that's really, that's great to see. Great to hear as well.
We really do promote that, yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. Okay, so just moving on to Oh, I'm going to ask you this question. Actually, I'm going to skip a question,
Go on.
Mike. I'm going to ask you a different one. Okay, so what lessons have you learned from a particularly difficult process that you've been involved in? I guess what I'm saying is, and it's quite interesting for you because you did 20 years as an accountant, 20 years in FM. What's been a difficult project process that you've been involved in that's really altered your skills, I suppose?
I don't know. I mean, because I don't come from an M&E background, I was always very weak on. Initially, I was weak on that.
Right.
And doing we did a big project where we changed the chillers and the whole works. To me, that was, I was the least experienced person in the room, even though I was quite a senior manager at the time.
Dark magic, basically, to you at that time.
Yeah, it's completely, But you just got to be ask the questions. Don't be afraid. Don't matter how senior you are or whatever. You ask and you learn, and you just learn from the best people.
Yeah.
So that was a really steep learning curve.
Yeah.
Fan coil units, chillers.
Yeah.
It's dark. It's actually not that difficult.
Yeah.
But if you break it down, but it's not being afraid to ask. You know, and listen and listen to people, because you got to learn to listen, but then you got to listen to learn.
That's true.
If you just ask people and develop your skills, because we're as building managers, we tend to be kind of multi-skilled, but not to a deep level.
Yeah.
So therefore, don't be afraid to ask.
Yeah. So would you say kind of temper your I don't think anxiety is the right word, but temper your, potentially anxiety about something you don't know a great deal about, and just don't be afraid to put yourself out there, ask the questions that need to be asked,
and ask your colleagues.
Yeah,
because most of us have been in a similar situation.
Yep.
So we have an app, a Promise Life app, where people put news updates on, create different things happening. People can ask questions.
Yep.
So engage your colleagues, because there's a wealth of experience, and people love sharing experiences and giving advice.
Yeah, completely agree.
Grab a coffee, sit down, and and they'll talk away, probably far too long. But it's what it's about, isn't it?
That's how you learn.
That's how you learn.
Without a doubt. Brilliant. Okay, so let's move on to a little bit about sort of you specifically now. So, what would you say some of your greatest achievements in your career in facilities management have been, if you have ones that you're happy to share?
I think developing staff. The older you get, I love looking back and see how people have progressed.
Yep.
And meeting someone who's quite new to the industry, quite new to work generally, and then seeing them grow.
Yeah.
And put them in different buildings, give them different experiences, getting them to working with different managers, and just seeing how they progress. And it's part of that journey.
Yeah.
It's that to me, that's one of my greatest achievements. It's just seeing staff grow in confidence, grow in experience, and just develop as individuals. It's
really great to see. It seems to permeate throughout sort of the Knight Frank team.
It's very much our ethos.
That's kind of the based on the people that we've already had on the show and the people we've spoken to. I mean, I think you're the third person from Knight Frank to come on, alongside Paul and obviously Louis May. So shout out to Paul and Louis May.
Yeah, definitely.
Good to see you.
Great people.
Yeah, without a doubt. Okay, brilliant. Okay, so conversely, any regrets in your facilities management career?
Probably not getting into it early enough.
You said that earlier, didn't you?
Yeah, if I had known what FM was like, I'd have gone from school. I forgot 20 years as a... Life is a journey. Yeah, and my experience of accountancy helped get me to where I am today.
Yeah.
But I would definitely got into it earlier. It's a great industry. I just never knew it. It was never... when I was at school, I went to comprehensive. It was became a mechanic, electrician, or do stuff like that. It wasn't a job spec. So I wish I got into it 10 years earlier. Would have been nice.
Yeah. Maybe we could create some kind of collaboration or partnership where we take FM into schools.
Yeah, well, actually, we've been discussing that recently at work. We wanted to go out and start engaging with schools and do some training, do some work experience and stuff like that.
Yeah. Do you know what we could do, Mike? We could make Wear Many Hats required listening.
Could do.
We could.
Yeah.
I don't think he's revved about that, guys.
But no, I think the more kids who know about it, the better. Yeah, because it's a good career.
It is a very good career. I completely agree.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
Okay, brilliant. Well, I've got my final question now,
Go on
Mike. Yeah. So, tell us a little bit about yourself. What things in life, be it work or leisure, give you the greatest satisfaction and enjoyment?
Okay. I've got to mention my wife and son.
Yeah, make
Wife's
sure.
librarian.
Yep.
Michelle. Son's 19. He's doing automotive engineering at Coventry.
Right.
Very proud of both of them. My passion, besides crisis, is my running. I used to did martial arts for a long time. Then I had a cycling accident. So now I do this called ultra trail runnings, where you run like 100 kilometers non-stop over fields and stuff like that.
Yeah, you told me this last. I still think
I know,
mental.
it's crazy.
I couldn't do 5 kilometres. Then mine 100. But fair play to you.
It's good mentally and physically.
I bet. Yeah.
And then come October, hopefully I'm climbing Kilimanjaro in Tanzania. That's my latest one.
Yeah.
So it's always good to have a goal.
Yeah.
Because you need to have a goal to keep yourself motivated. Yeah. And, you know, it's all right going down the gym, but if you go down the gym, you've got to have a focus of where you want to be.
That's true.
You know, and the same for work. You know, I adopt that for work. You know, at work, I always wanted to be the best at what I was doing.
Yeah.
You know, I wanted the best building.
Yeah.
I wanted, you know, when I became a director, I wanted the best team. I wanted the best compliance. I wanted the best team working ethos.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, crisis the same. So I've always been driven to have the best team around me, and you're only as good as everyone around you.
That's true.
But when I do my running, it's just me in my own sort of headspace and stuff like that. So I do like it. I like the challenge.
Yeah.
Although it can be a bit daunting at times.
Yeah. I bet. Yeah. So because it must take a long time to run 100 kilometres.
Yeah, it can take 12, 15 hours to run. I did London to Brighton a couple of months back.
Yeah.
You know, you start at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
You're not finishing to 2 or 3 o'clock in the following morning.
Oh.
So yeah, it's long. Because you're running through woods, you're running across fields. It makes life but it's good. It's good because it's a mental challenge, and you meet lovely people.
Yeah.
You know.
How long does it take your body to recover? Because that's a big impact on your body.
Without getting boring, I mean, you lose all your toenails essentially.
Well, fine.
At the end of it. So it takes a while, but don't grow back.
Yeah.
It takes a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then it's a bit of a bug, you know. I'm on various Facebook groups, and everyone's talking about the next event and stuff like that. So you get a real thrill out of doing it.
Yeah, so you're basically Knight Frank's version of Bear Grylls, then.
I doubt it. No, I'm a plodder. I'm more of the tortoise and the hare. I'm the tortoise. You know, I'll get there in the end, but it'll take a while. You know, okay. But I'll always get there.
Well, that's a really interesting thing to share about yourself. Thank you very much.
That's all right.
All right. Well, that brings us to the end. Listen, Mike, thank you very much for coming on the show. I think it's been an incredibly interesting show. I certainly learned some things on it, which is always good.
Yep,
I always like that.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for your time. And we will see you, I don't know, maybe get you back in about 6 months. See how things go.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Cheers, thanks, Mark.
Lovely. Cheers, Mike. Bye-bye.